Alright guys, so as I mentioned in the audibles portion, we're going to always come out in the pistol ace twins formation. Now, as far as what you need to run this offense successfully, pretty much you can do whatever you want. There's no secret to personnel. Obviously, the faster, the better the running back. I mean, that you need. But outside of that, you don't really. You can play with any team. I've played with the Seahawks to the Chiefs to the Cowboys. I've pretty much played with everybody. Um, so you play with your favorite team. Mess around with it. See who you like to personally play with, and that's pretty much it. So now, as far as how to set up the receivers, you want your fastest receiver in the inside spot right here. So you would take, in this case, you would take Brandon Cooks, put him right there. You could then put Colston or wherever you wanted on the outside. Um, Tight ends, like I said, they don't really matter. I mean, just decent guys. And you can come out in really any play you want. The two plays that are not in my audibles that I like to run, Bill's post wheel is a nice little play. You just drag the tight end on the left. I'll go ahead and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when running this, you would just drag the tight end that is on the left and hike the ball. And now pretty much you're just picking, who you want to throw to, whether it be the flats, the drag routes. The other option on that play is to hike and throw the ball to the outside to this wheel route. If you wait till he cuts about right here and throw the pass lead to the outside, you can get a lot of completions that way that are kind of cheap, so to speak. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So pretty much you wait till he cuts up field, throw the pass to the outside, you have a nice little dot. It's going to be really effective if your opponent is in a cover 3 or a cover 4 defense. Let's see if we'll just audible to a cover 3 really quick. Do the same setup. So you'll see that linebacker, he drops back into the zone, and that was an awful throw. But even when it's a bad throw, the receiver will jump up and try to do the aggressive catch. So, little quick dot. Not something that you can run all game long, but it is something to mix in from time to time. And then the other play that I don't have in my audibles is the play that I actually come out in more times than not, and that is going to be the play smash. So once again, we'll just come out in a random coverage. This is going to be a cover 1, and when your opponent runs cover 1, what happens is you have the corner route, which is deep to the right. And if they are in any sort of so let's see, 2-man under look, we'll do the same thing. You have 2-man under. I got screamed at, but you see the corner route's open again. And if they are in any sort of a zone, so I'll go back to 2-man under real quick just to show you. So 2-man under, pretty much by a little bit of time, throw the corner route. Now that is not a standard corner route. It is one of those out, up, and back outs. Actually, I'll just show you on the play art. So those corner routes truly do dominate man coverage. And it doesn't matter if it's a linebacker or a corner. If they base align, that corner route should be open. The other thing I like to do on this is I like to take the slot receiver, motion him to the right, and drag X. This is going to give us just some crazy little routes on the field. So obviously you have the drag, but the thing I wanted to focus on is the separation that the B receiver actually gets. So go to instant replay. So obviously you have the drag initially right there. Then you will have the corner route break into the outside. But look at the separation that Cooks will get on his guy. This post route is a beast. So if your opponent starts putting purples and trying to stop that, and you motion him over, you're gonna have a huge gain right there. So those are the two adjustments that I like to use out of that play. And then now to the actual plays. The halfback dive is very simple. I tend to just motion this guy a few steps in, hike the ball, and then you can just run, wherever you want. Just find the open lane and cut it to the outside, or excuse me, cut it, into the open lane. So you can do the same thing if you want. You could move him there. I actually missed the open lane, but you guys get the gist of a halfback dive. It's not rocket science, but motion them in. You get good blocking. You can break it to the right if you wanted to. So you run in here, you just break it to the outside, double juke back. You can do so much that your opponent has to truly respect that. So they can't do dumb stuff like run commit left. And your opponent's going to want to because of how effective the strong power is. So the strong power, although it got blown up right there, if your opponent does any sort of base align, which they will need to do in order to set up blitzes, this is going to kill it. So not only that, your opponent's going to have to do stuff like trying to contain what you have. So the strong power flipped is just a monster. Practice mode, it is not apparently effective as it is in game, but that really is the main play in this scheme. So you guys run it in a game and just giggle at how effective it is. So now we're going to go to the two passing plays that I actually have to have in my audibles, one being X spot. Now X spot gives you the ability to do two different things. For zone, if I think it's zone, which, what am I in here? I'm in man coverage, so audible to a cover 3. In any sort of a zone, by streaking the X receiver, you're going to be able to throw the corner route and pick up huge yards right there. So that's going to force your opponent to play that corner route. Go to it again. If it is in man coverage, you'll see that the corner route still gets open, but so does the post. I don't know what just happened, but I'll go to the instant replay and show you how open the post route gets. So you see that if I just sit in the pocket like I'm supposed to, that post route's going to come open. You'll be able to hit him for an easy gain. I don't know. Drew Brees decided to truck somebody for no reason. But anyways, run it one more time and then move on from it. So nice little simple post route. It will beat his guy. You just got to worry about throwing at a yellow zone like I just did. And if your opponent is hellbent on being in man coverage, you just want to mix it up. An additional adjustment you can do is to drag the tight end and motion slant the X receiver. And what's going to happen is the tight end is going to get open as well as the motion slant. So now pretty much what you are doing is you're flooding the left, or you're flooding the left with the initial setup, and then you're flooding the right with this setup. So see the tight end gets open, motion slant would have been open. So pay attention to that setup. It is a very, very good setup to mix in. See if I actually can hit it. So there's the motion slant. Drag route. I don't think I need to tell you guys how to throw drags. But once, I guess it helps if I'm in the right play. But it doesn't matter. A drag route's a drag route. They're going to be open every single time. So drag routes are very important. They beat man, they beat zone. The other adjustment is if I think my opponent is going to be just in man coverage and I didn't happen to come out in the play smash, you can do the same concept with this post route right here. So you would then just wait till he gets to the outside, hike the ball, and hit that post, which pretty much dual post. As I'll go to the instant replay, you guys will see how they. You got the post route to Ben Watson right here that has beat his man. You see he's open right here, and if the opponent is biting down on him, you got that guy. So nice little combination. And then you have the drag route by the tight end, of course, and then the slant by the outside left receiver. So pretty much you have 4 routes that beat man coverage. So that's the play, really. In zone, you just make the read between these two guys, either the flat or the corner. 9 times out of 10, it will be the corner. And then now we're going to move on to PA flanker stretch. Now this play is good because it's a quick hug play, and B, it's a play action. So you can sit here and fake the play action, and then you have the drag route by the tight end going in the opposite direction as our normal one, as well as you have the crossing route that the tight end and the slot receiver are on. So you can really dominate with these 2 plays as far as passing goes, and then these 2 runs are obviously very overpowered. So now, moving into the next formation, if you simply audible to the right, you have single back big close, but if you audible to the left, you have single back bunch ace. And that is what makes this so important, is you can audible down very quickly. I mean, it's left, LB, or whatever icon you set, PA end around, and now you have the streak flat corner combo. So I don't have to tell you guys how to run this play. I'm pretty sure everybody dominated enough with it last year. So you just audible, put B on a streak or a fade, whichever you want. Throw to running back, throw to the corner. But most importantly, the reason I like this one so much is the route that Colston is on. You do have to pay attention when running this, though. If your opponent is sending a blitz from the outside right, I do not run this because you'll see the quarterback is going to pretty much roll out to the right. So I missed my initial read because I was mentioning that. But so we'll go audible down again. I'm going to show you if your opponent starts doing some crazy stuff trying to stop the corner route. You guys will see that this X receiver just simply throw a bullet pass, don't pass lead, and you'll be golden. So you're pretty much attacking all areas of the field with this play, and it's a nice little play to just mix in because your opponent's not going to have any ability to stop the run to the left as well as stopping PA end around while also not giving up the pitch. The pitch is a toss. So, and the reason that this combination works so well is because I'm sure you've seen this defense right here mentioned before where they start shifting their linebackers left. If they start doing this, this pitch is just golden. Once again, apparently, A, I suck at running, in practice mode at least, or is in practice mode are just straight up dominant. But regardless, it is a perfect combination to run because it pretty much takes the advantage of shifting the linebackers left and forces that out the window. So people that are abusing my defense, which apparently is a lot these days, this right here is going to give them fits. So not only do you have that, now say you audible down to the play halfback smash. I think that's what it's called. Or halfback slash. Now this run is even, just as dominant. Say they start, just overplaying the hell out of this side of the field. They're hell-bent on containing that side. You can take this ball and just cut it right up the middle. So now you have to worry about a dive. You have to worry about, the toss to the right. But to make everything worse, you can actually cut this run back all the way to the left-hand side of the field. So you don't have to, like, this wouldn't be the best formation to do it at, but you can cut it right back and break it to the outside left. And you do that by simply hiking the ball and holding left on the left analog stick. So say they start, you audible down, now say they start shifting right. So if they start doing that, that is when this can really come into play. You cut it back left, and now you're running to both sides of the field. Really, all three. You're running the left, right, and you can run right up the middle. And then that brings us to our final play, which is really nice as well, and that is to play divide. So say your opponent just is hell-bent on, blitzing from the right. They're not going to let you run PA end around. This is where this play really takes advantage of that, because if they are blitzing from the right, they're going to have limited coverage. So when they do that, this play divide, you can see by the routes themselves, I like to just block the running back and then hike the ball. So you'll see the B route is going to beat his guy every single time, just like it used to last year. For those of you that were with me last year, you guys know how much I loved PA Panther Post. It's the same very simple concept right here. Now to top it off, this drag route / crossing route truly are golden together. If you are in any sort of a zone, the drag route reacts as kind of a screen. I'll audible to a cover 3 right here to show you. He kind of just sits right underneath zones and allows you to pretty much, if I had somebody relatively fast right there, he allows you to cut that up, and you can really crib shot this run because the zones are dropping back with the wheel route by Watson. So once again, I'm in man right here, but you can see that even versus man, safety bites down because he's in a yellow. You simply just throw the drag. It's a very safe throw. If your opponent sells out on this, and say they're doing purple, they're held, they're going to try to manually guard this in route. The wheel route by Watson does tend to get open a lot. It didn't right there, but that is just a route to watch because he will beat his guy. Not all the time, but it's definitely something to look for. See if I can get it to beat him this time. Not really. If you have a good tight end, you say Gronkowski, somebody like that, that is a great face catch opportunity as well. But that is pretty much the bunch ace. The only additional play that I would recommend mixing in from time to time is the play Z-Spot. I think that's what it's called in this book. Yeah, Z-Spot. So the reason this play is really nice is because your opponent will tend to overreact and try to guard the right-hand side of the field. And what'll happen in most cases when they do that, if they are over here just ignoring this guy, the guy will cut inside, and you can throw a nice little bullet pass right there, a lot of times in between the zones. And then the Z-Spot has two different setups. You can slant or drag the tight end. I tend to slant him. And then you have two different reads. You have the slant, or you have the deep post, as well as the route that Cooks is on right here. The other thing that I like to mix in from time to time is I like to motion this dude over to the left. And he's going to pretty much sit where a lot of zones don't guard him. Just something to mix in, like I said, maybe once or twice a game. Your opponent's going to be instantly reacting to PA end around or the toss when you run this. So this little combo right here really will affect it because you can throw that pretty much versus any zone. There was a yellow right in that area and it didn't react to it. So like I said, nice little thing. If you don't want to run that setup, simply streak him, and now you have the corner flat combo on that side, and you don't got to worry about the rollout. So, nice little play to mix in. I really wanted it in my audibles. However, I could not give up the slash or the pitch. So if you like that more than divide, it is completely up to you. I like it this way, but I did want to show you that as well. So after this, I'll show you the next formation. And the next formation is going to be single back big close. Now, as I mentioned, the play tight end slots tight end angle. You simply just want to block the running back. You will then pretty much pick and choose. You got the drag, the wheel, or excuse me, the drag or the trail route on the right for a nice quick dot. You also have the tight end corner route combo on the opposite side. So watch this corner route though. So that was against cover 2 invert. Not many people run cover 2 invert, but let's see. Audible to a cover 3. Pretty much as soon as he makes his break, you can throw this to the outside, and the corner tends to dumb out, allowing you to make that throw. Colston's not the best to have in that spot. He's really slow, but go ahead and see if I can get it to work. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to flip it and run it to Cooks. So you'll see right here, pretty much that was a cover 3, and they don't react to that deep corner route. So you'll see that he makes that deep break and he's wide open for a touchdown. So nice little play for the fact that you can always hike throw that streak if they don't respect it, and then they have to be able to stop the trail, the drag, and the corner route all in one quick hiked play. So that is probably my most used play out of that set, as well as the run. We'll go back to a cover 3 right here. So once again, all you do on this play is block the running back. Fantastic setup. Your primary read is going to be the drag route as he comes down, or the trail route, whoever they don't user. If they bite down real hard on that, I like to look for the corner route streak combo. And what I mean by the streak is, say, they're just overselling to stop the corner route. You can't really sleep on that streak because simply just bullet it. A high bullet, and you'll pick up a nice chunk of yards right there as well. So on to the next play, and the next play is going to be tight slots bench. And like I said, on this play, I like to just flat route both my tight ends. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just hike throw to the flats. The zones aren't going to respect the flats, so you can tend to just hike throw them and pick up, a decent 4, 5, 6 yards. Those are pretty much the primary reads. If they're not there, I do tend to look at the corner routes because, as I mentioned, a lot of the times the corner routes won't be guarded in a cover 3. But that's a situational play. If you see your opponent blitzing a lot, that's a nice play to audible to and force them to respect the flats. And then obviously if it's man coverage, the corner routes do tend to beat their guys. So here's a 2-man under. And you'll see Cooks, actually he played really well. That doesn't happen very often, so I'm surprised he actually made a play on that. Try it again. See if I can get it to work. So he makes his break, just throw it, as soon as he breaks, throw it to the outside and you're golden. You got a nice little gain. And the play tight slots PA counter. So on this play, like I said, I like to slant the tight end and then block the running back. That gives us 3 crossing routes and a corner route. So pretty much you just pick your poison. This play is very similar to the play wide receiver cross out of tight doubles. You could drag, you could really do a lot with it. Always make sure you block that running back though, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. So, nice little play, especially if you see your opponent start biting down a lot. Trying to stop all the stuff over the middle of the field. You can really hit them deep with this. I use this play probably, like I said, 3-4 times throughout the course of a game. Not truly I would say, money play, but it is definitely a very effective play. All routes will kill man coverage. So if your opponent's in like a 2-man under, simply slant, drag, whatever you want. So you see, I got screamed at again, but the crossing routes were open. The slant actually was not open for whatever reason. The slant got boxed, but the other crossing routes were open. So nice play, like I said. Then the run. You can run this to either side. Your opponent will have no idea which side you're really going to. It's another one of those plays that you can bounce to the outside or cut it directly up the middle depending on block shed. Very, very tough play. One that a lot of people do not expect you to run. So, like I said, you can really mix it up. Nice play because you have the ability to go everywhere. You can go outside right, outside left, inside right, inside left. It's gonna force your opponent to respect the run for sure, which will then leave open the passing plays. Single back ace pair is up next. Now this is going to be the play motion PA power O, I believe. Yeah, so on this play, you're going to want to block the running back, and then you want to either flat route the RB receiver or put him on a slant. And your primary read, as I mentioned, is going to be the PA end-around route. That is a route that you can not necessarily throw at will like you could in last year's game, but it goes deep enough to where a lot of zones simply won't react to it. And since that receiver is isolated over there on the left, your opponent's going to typically focus putting all of his zones on the right. So it actually is a nice little play because it complements the other plays we use. So you have the slant coming up underneath, in case they drop back trying to manually play that crossing route. And then if they're in man coverage, you'll have the corner route, which I will audible to man. The only route that you really won't throw is going to be the Cook's route, but that is why you want him as your fastest guy. If your opponent is stupid enough to leave him in single coverage and you have a fast receiver, that could be a bomb over there. So, once again, as I said, corner route's going to be wide open versus any man coverage. Pretty much the field. You got short, middle, intermediate to the left, and intermediate to the right, as well as having the deep ball if your opponent is silly, or you play with the Ravens. You have Brashard Perryman. Then on to the next play is going to be Z-Spot. Now, I like Z-Spot because it has a very similar setup to the PA Power O, however, not as long as a hike. So you simply streak the B receiver, and now you have the corner flat combo that you simply just pick and choose who you want to throw to. And if they are in man coverage, it is actually better than the PA Power O because the outside left receiver will always dominate his man. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you that right here. So as I say, he'll always dominate his man. He gets just absolutely boxed. Play with that route in game. You guys will see that it gets open very, very well. And then tight end attack. Now this play is kind of suspect, but it does a decent job of flowing from left to right. What I'll do is I'll drag the B receiver, and then you simply just drag route, post route, or deep little glitchy route by the tight end. Pretty much just all depends on what your opponent is doing, but it allows you to flow to the other side of the field instead of your opponent being able to simply key on all your routes on the left. So once again, just, simple, simple little play, nothing fancy, but it's going to keep you in those down and distances that will allow you to truly, take over games. And then on that, I simply like the halfback dive. A lot of people sell out when I audible to this. They think the toss is coming, or like an outside run, and the dive simply catches people off guard. It allows you to, pick up nice yards directly up the middle. So it forces your opponents to have somebody inside the box. And then the final formation, or I guess not the final formation, but one of the final formations is going to be single back twin tight end flex. Now you have the play tight end spot, which is my main one, and this is simply PA end around. I mean, it truly is PA end around. All you'll do is you'll streak the RB receiver, or the tight end. You'll drag the slot receiver. You don't motion that guy. I don't know what I just did, but that's all you'll do. Then simply roll out to the left. You got the corner streak flat combo. And you don't really have to worry about the auto drop, where the guy is just going to sprint directly to the right. So, nice little play, for sure. You've got additional reads. You got the drag route coming over the middle. You got the in route. As I mentioned already, the in route's going to kill man coverage. It's a nice little dot if your opponent is playing a lot of coverage defense as well. And next is going to be the play PA boot corner. Now, as you see in the art, our main reads are going to be very similar. What we're going to do is we're going to drag the tight end on the line. In this case, simply drag him. And then now you have two shallow crosses with a deep cross. And that is a very nice little combination. Colston's route, that little shallow post, tends to get in between almost all zones, as I'll show you right here. Actually, as I said that, it didn't, but pretty much you just make the read. Either they guard short or they guard deep. They can't guard both. And then if they happen to be in man coverage, the corner route that Josh Hill is on will beat his guy, as well as all the crossing routes. So you see corner route gets wide open. And one thing that you guys will note in this offense, I really built it around these shallow corner routes. And the reason is they tried to, eliminate how effective corner routes were, and they made them longer. So these shallow ones that pretty much just make a sharp break, similar to pretty much an out route, these are the ones that are really effective. So I've really built my entire offense around abusing those, since a lot of people will be running man coverage, since drags and shallow routes are very effective. So once again, there's that shallow post I was talking about, and nice little play. That is probably one of my go-to passing plays if I'm not in pistol ace twins or single back bunch ace or big ace close. Or big close. So it's I'd say that's top 5 passing play in this scheme for sure. And then the next play is going to be cross up. And all I do on this is I flat route the tight end, the A tight end. So what that's going to do is it's going to give me an additional read to the flats. Pretty much force my opponent to respect the flats is what I'm doing. Not a huge play by any means. However, if your opponent starts selling out, a lot of people that I've seen so far will do stuff like this, where they'll start manning up these guys, and then they'll try to manually play the right side of the field for the corner cross, the corner streak combo from tight end spot. So when they start making adjustments like this is when that running back's route truly becomes effective, is because if your opponent starts making good adjustments to all of our other plays, it's just a nice complement, so to speak. So once again, that is pretty much my primary read on that. It's either I throw the flat or I throw the drags. If your opponent is in man coverage, the corner route over here on the left gets open. The post route will also get open, but not to where I would recommend throwing really either of them. So you'll see that post route gets wide open right there, but it's not. It doesn't always get that open. So something for you to for sure play around with. If they're in man coverage, they have to respect it. And then the corner route over here on the left, like I said, it doesn't always get open. That's more of a riskier throw. So if you know your opponent's running man, I that one. But if they are in zone, it's a nice little play. And that's it for that formation. Now, halfback zone weak is the run. Now, this run is nice because it cuts it pretty much directly up the middle. This is not one of those runs that allows you to break it to the outside a lot. Like, you can, but it's not designed to go outside by any means. So you can simply, just cut it right up the middle. If your opponent is doing something silly like line shifting, all their linebackers left, if they're in a defense like this, you could actually do well by simply flipping the run and running it to the right. And it's going to pick up really good yards because they can't shoot the gap on that play. I'll explain that why here now. So you see the quarterback's angle where he kind of takes it like he was supposed to be going off tackle with the running back. In theory, this play shouldn't exist. I mean, from a football standpoint, because they would run into each other. But in the game, they don't. And these runs have always been very effective. It was one of the staples of my offense a few years back, and then they took it out of the game, but now it is back. So definitely a nice little run to mix in. This is one of those runs where if your opponent simply doesn't have run defense or they're not really sure how to stop the run, this is one of those plays you could run all game long. So something to keep in the mix, considering we do have good passing plays out of it. And then the final formation of the scheme is going to be single back big. Now we have 2 run plays and 2 passing plays. So the running plays, you have the zone weak, which is simply like an off tackle type run that you can bounce back to the middle of the field. So it is a very good run because you can go all directions with it. That is one of the things that I really like about my scheme in general, is I have a lot of runs that allow me to do this. So you'll see right here, cut it off tackle. You can go any direction with this play. And since it's a symmetrical formation, you can actually run it to both sides. Your opponent's not going to have any clue what way you're running. So in this case, we'll simply flip it. And now we can, run it up the middle again. That pretty much got boxed, but we still picked up 3 yards. Not too shabby. Halfback dive, once again, if your opponent starts overplaying the outside runs, the dive is a nice little play to, simply cut right up the middle, pick up some yards. And now into the passing plays, you have Z-spot, which all you're going to do is you're going to streak the outside left receiver and just hike the ball. So now, similar to PA end around, you have the flat corner streak combo. And then the tight end on this side. I haven't really found a dominant thing to put him on. I do like to put him on streaks because you can tend to just pass lead those up the seams once your opponent bites down and starts trying to overplay the other routes. So in route on the far left will beat man coverage. The out route, I don't know if it beats man coverage or not, honestly. Let's see. So if you run it, I guess it beats man. I don't know if I would trust it. If you don't know what to do with it, put it on a drag. I mean, probably your safest bet. Put them on a slant, a zigzag, something shallow. And then the play PA deep in. So as I mentioned in the audible section, this play takes a little bit to set up because I'm blocking the running back and making two adjustments, which is essentially two drag routes. And it's just going to allow me to pick and choose, who I want to throw to. Drag routes simply force them to respect the run game, and then as soon as they respect the run game or they go to man coverage, that is when we can really abuse this play. So again, this is against man coverage. You'll see that the post route, Ben Watson should get wide open, as well as a drag. So nice little play, mostly designed for man coverage. As I mentioned, once again, you have the in route by the X receiver who should beat his guy as well. Colston is apparently having some issues with this in practice mode, but we'll try it. Actually, apparently no, we won't because I forgot. But that's the scheme. I don't want to drag this on any longer than it needs to be. As I keep perfecting this scheme, I will update you guys with more stuff out of it. I'm currently working on the 3 receiver set. However, I only truly have, I'd say, 2 plays that I really like out of this. And as of right now, that is the play wide trail. And this is just going to abuse zone coverage. You'll simply fade the outside receiver, in this case B, and now you've pretty much forced your opponent to guard the corner, flat, drag, trail route. Like, you got everything, and then you got the shallow post on the opposite side. This mixed in with the counter, if they pursue, like shift their linebackers to the left. I keep bringing that up because I know you guys are complaining, not necessarily complaining, but you're upset that my defense has kind of leaked already. But counter, another one of those plays that does a truly dominant job of abusing that defense. And then you have plays like verticals and PA wide receiver in. Now, wide receiver in does a phenomenal job because you can do 2 things. You flat route the running back, and now you have a makeshift screen to the right if your opponent is in zone. So you simply throw it. He cuts up field. You can pick up some nice yards right there. And then if they are in man coverage, as you'll see right here, you got the drag route cutting across, but you have the wheel route, which will dominate his guy. So it's a 2-play scheme, really, maybe 3 if you consider the counter. But it definitely has its pluses to both. So you see, just the wheel route dominates his man. In route's open over here. The drag route is always open. And then if they're in zone, you get the makeshift screen as well as the drag combo. So still working on that portion of the scheme. As you see, I don't even have audibles really set. This is the only other formation I've set audibles for is the gun trio offset, and that's mostly just to run the ball. If I see them overplaying that, I audible to this and just run the ball this way. You've got some decent runs up the middle. But still, this portion of the scheme is definitely still a work in progress. So once I get all of that situated, you guys will be the first to know. Passing play, not a truly dominant one, but I do run this from time to time. Simply pick up my 3-4 yards and call it a day. Go back to my AceTwins scheme. So once again, hope you guys enjoy this Buffalo Bills scheme. I will keep you guys updated with anything that I change, but I wanted to make sure I got this out to you guys because this takes all of those other websites where they are putting out our blitzes and stuff like that, and they don't truly understand it. This scheme right here is built around dominating those type of players. So I understand this is a disappointment that some of our defenses are getting out there. People are seeing them. Unfortunately, that is what happens with tip sites and all of that. Um, so it is unfortunate, but with this scheme, we are taking all of those players that are pretty much just mimic me's and mini me's. All those players will have no clue how to stop this offense. And I've played plenty of competition so far, from money games to friends. I've played pretty much every person that I can think of and that I respect as a good defensive player, and every one of them has said that this scheme is incredibly difficult to stop. So once you get everything situated, once you get your reads down, this scheme in general, and this is just the the two tight end, two receiver, one running back scheme. Once we start getting everything else involved, we're going to have our opponent's head spinning, and this could very easily end up being one of the best offenses in Madden 16, especially pre-patch. So hope you guys like it. Obviously, give me your feedback, and we'll go from there. So I'm out.